Welcome to the It's Me podcast.
The three of us bozos have decided to do a podcast, and we're going to be doing it all the time. The first episode's about me and my love for Shawn Michaels. So, serious question. When you think of Adam and Shawn Michaels, what do you guys think about? What is this? Does it spark any emotion?
The time you told us you had a dream you kissed Shawn Michaels.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. You're just a weirdo, and this is why you should listen to this. Because this guy's a fucking weirdo. He's the biggest dink I know. He's like a mixture of, like, if Steve Urkel went in Donnie Darko's body, but you take out all of, like, the mathematics and science and you replace it with Ghostbusters and Shawn Michaels. So if you want to fucking watch 30 minutes of an absolute psycho, stick around.
I made sure to make this viewing experience the best viewing experience you're ever gonna have. Guess what? I hand-selected pictures, videos, GIFs that line up with what we're talking about. So hang tight and have fun.
Fucking break. Yeah, so you can turn that right off. Right. So this is it. This is the very first podcast that we're doing. Today's little episode, we're going to be talking about the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, of the WWE Hall of Famer, two-time Hall of Famer, actually, once in D-Generation X and once by himself.
All right, calm down. Calm down.
And once as Shawn Michaels. For whatever reason, finds my love fascinating.
Well, I
think
anybody within the first 2 seconds of hearing this will see how fucking weird.
It's not weird.
Okay.
It's not weird.
When did you fall in love with him?
So I started watching wrestling in 1995. Mm-hmm. It was grade 6. Jonathan Bez Pauley had brought in the Royal Rumble 95. Okay. That was the Royal Rumble that Shawn Michaels first won. British Bulldog thought he won, and Shawn Michaels came back in and pushed him out. That was my very first introduction to wrestling. And the first guy that I saw was Shawn Michaels. And at the time, I don't think I thought anything much of it, but the whole spectacle of the whole thing was very cool.
Okay, so the Royal Rumble itself got you hooked.
Royal Rumble got me hooked, and the only person that I saw and everyone was cheering was Shawn Michaels.
Okay, so he was already a face.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They were building him up big time. So
it wasn't like his costume, his flair. It was just everybody likes this guy, so I'm gonna like this guy.
And I like the fact that everyone, like, oh my God, he got eliminated, but oh no, he didn't. His only one foot touched, and that whole thing, because they really played that up.
Yeah,
they knew what they were doing because they were trying to build him up to be the face of the company, and they needed a pretty boy for that, and they found one in Shawn Michaels.
And is that one of the reasons why you like him? Because he's a pretty boy?
No.
Because there's a common theme with all of, like, your favorite figures of entertainment in your childhood. They're all boy bands. They're all pretty boys.
Interesting.
New Kids on the Block. Backstreet Boys.
I don't like Backstreet Boys, but I adore the new Kids on the Block. They're just, it's hilarious.
But you legitimately like their music.
I love their music. You out of town? You nuts? It's great. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
You want to talk about music? Yes. Talk about his theme song.
Oh, his
theme song is a fucking jam. Oh. It's amazing.
The fact that he sings it too?
And the girls like it. Do you hear them in the song?
My favorite line is, I think I'm cute, but I know I'm sexy.
He's well aware of what he's got going on. Okay, and I like that. To be honest, I like that attitude. Okay. I do. So I start getting into wrestling a little bit more, and then I'm full in. I'm like full hard on for WWE or WWF at the time around the 96 Royal Rumble. Okay. So 96 Royal Rumble, Shawn Michaels won that again 2 years in a row. Right. And at that point, they're building Shawn Michaels up to be, the whole boyhood dreams coming true, facing Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12. I love that match. I remember glued to the TV for an hour, not blinking, watching this match, and I thought it was the best thing that I'd ever seen.
See, I hated that match because I was a Bret Hart guy.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a Shawn Michaels guy. Yeah. As being Canadian, I should have been a Bret Hart guy, but I turned my back on my country because of HBK.
Yeah, because like HBK too was also like the symbolism of that pretty boy band bullshit. Well, and I remember at the time, I like grunge music.
Right.
And then
It's the exact... No, it was the opposite.
He was the boy band of wrestling.
But WWE wanted you to like Shawn Michaels, and they did a very good job of building him up and these storylines or whatever. At least I thought.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was very charismatic. He was very good on the mic, and I thought he was funny, so I enjoyed watching him. And then I remember he turned bad. He was what do you call it? He was in DX, and he hit Undertaker with a chair. And I'm like, well, I have to keep liking him.
So, was there inner conflict when he went bad?
No.
You got on board with it, right?
I got on board. I think at that point,
You're old enough.
Old enough, and I knew who I liked. If whether they were good or bad, I liked them regardless. But for some reason, Shawn Michaels just stuck, and he was the guy, and I was obsessed with him.
Yes.
I would the only reason I watched wrestling was because of Shawn Michaels, and then when he got hurt, he had his back injury, I kind of fell out of it. But then when I'd read the wrestling news and like, oh, Shawn Michaels is going to be on Raw this week, better watch it. And then I would watch it, and it was just the best thing. Oh, I loved it. And even as of like 4 years ago when he would return, he'd come back and super kick people. I'd be like, Shawn Michaels came back and super kicked Lotunga. It was really cool. Videos of me saying that. And while, yes, I'm playing it up that it was like, yeah, I legitimately enjoyed it. It was great.
So, okay, kind of an extension to that. What is like your most pathetic thing you've ever done in like your Shawn Michaels fandom? Like the most pathetic, like
So there's lots of little things. So one that I know you make fun of me for.
Oh, okay.
So I love collecting toys. It's one of my most action figures.
At one point in Adam Skinner's lifetime, he had his credit card automatically buy new Ghostbusters toys.
Yeah.
As soon as they would come out.
Because it was on a subscription plan, and it was actually cost effective. Okay.
Don't try to justify it.
Yeah. I still have those toys, and they're out. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got my money's worth. So I'm now starting to buy some like wrestling action figures, and I wanted to recreate. So, okay. One of the big things for me as a wrestling fan, when Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels had their feud, it legitimately bothered me because I don't like seeing
like the real life post Montreal Screwjob.
Montreal Screwjob. If you don't know it, look it up. It was a real thing that happened, and it bothered me because I'm like, I love Shawn Michaels so much, but he did a really shitty thing to another guy that I do like, Bret Hart. So that happened in '97. And then in 2010 or 11, they're doing a reunion. So Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart are going to be face-to-face in the ring for the first time. I was super excited. This was in January. I just got my new car.
Yeah.
We were watching it at Randy's house.
Yeah.
And Shawn Michaels comes out. They have their little thing, and they shake hands, and they hug.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's amazing. I was legit. I watched that clip 100 times.
Okay.
I love that clip. It's great. Because it's like closure for me, because I'm like, okay, guys who used to be friends are not friends and now they're friends again. That's great.
Okay, and
I really like that.
I have like soccer clips that I rewatch over and over and over.
Everyone does. I'm sure people have baseball clips that they just keep watching because they like that. They like how that makes them feel.
That's like a huge moment in sports for you.
Yeah. So what happened was they released a Bret Hart action figure of him looking a little older. I'm like, oh, that's fun. And then I thought, you know what would be fun would be to recreate that scene of them shaking hands on my toy shelf. So I find a Shawn Michaels DX action figure, and okay, I got that. But the problem is, Shawn Michaels came up with a shirt. He didn't have a shirt in the toy, so I had to go online and find a guy on eBay that would make custom wrestling figure shirts. And I had to find the exact logo that he was wearing, and then I paid like $10 for this little piece of fabric, and I put it on my little Shawn Michaels action figure, and I made their hands, shake. And this would have been like 5 years ago, maybe like 6 or 7. Even still, it's within 2010 to 2019. This happened. And yeah, is it pathetic?
1,000%.
I don't think it's pathetic.
Is it pathetic?
I don't think it's...
Is it pathetic that you probably spent 4 to maybe 5 hours, maybe even a day looking online? I would love to take your history of Google searches. T-shirts for toys?
Yes.
T-shirt for toy maker? How to make a T-shirt?
And you know what? I still have it. The shirt's on. I mean, it looks great. It's a cut-off sleeve shirt one too. Like, it's great.
And it's funny because I've seen the shirt, and you could have done it yourself.
Absolutely, I
in
could have
like
done it.
2 seconds.
Yes.
Just get like one of those.
To be honest,
iron-ons.
I wanted it done right. I didn't want it to look like shit. I wanted to be as good as possible. So I found a reputable boy on the internet who did it for me, which is true. That is a fact.
And to this day, do you still have those toys posed?
Shaking hands?
Shaking hands?
Oh, yeah.
Is that like one of like the main sort of like mantelpieces?
Yep. I've got Shawn Michaels from when he won WrestleMania 12. He got his belt. I have Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels from the WrestleMania 14 match.
Okay.
I've got Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker from when they had their little feuds. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Then I've got a Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon that are climbing up the ladder. And recently, my friend gave me a toy wrestling belt. And what I did is I taped it on the top of on the bottom of my shelf on the top.
You stink.
So
you were such a fucking
Shawn Michaels
dink.
is climbing the ladder, reaching up for the Intercontinental belt. That was from the SummerSlam Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in the second ladder match. So I've got that set up. And then I've also got Shawn Michaels from the Heartbreak Hotel when he had his ridiculous glasses and all sorts of stuff.
Now, take me through your mindset as you're setting up these action figures. Is it...
Okay, I've got
fantastic.
So I've got my line of figures, and I've officially run out of room to put toys in a row. So I decide, okay, I'm going to make a whole Shawn Michaels wing, like a memorial for Shawn Michaels. I put all the toys together. So I've got 2 pop toys, and then I've got everything here, and I wanted it to be perfect. Now, the issue is, my fucking cats go by weekly and knock these things down. So I would say at least once a week, I'm in there, oh, geez, setting Shawn Michaels back up, reaching for his Intercontinental title. Him beside Bret Hart, and you have to redo all that. So it's really annoying and very
you
frustrating.
Legitimately, when you walk by it, when it's set up perfectly, that makes you smile.
I do.
Do you do a little wink, like a huh?
I do like a Shawn Michaels.
Like a nod.
He's great. Okay, he's one of the best wrestlers of all time, and for you to deny that,
I mean, it's you're doing me being nerdy. Well, you just ranted for literally the past 15 minutes about how you went online to buy a T-shirt for a fucking action figure.
Oh my god, it's so
for
true.
a wrestler.
It's very true.
So, is there any more pathetic?
I've been playing a lot of Rocket League. Like a lot of Rocket League. So in Rocket League, you can customize your cars.
Oh my god, I already...
So I've got so there's a lot of downloadable content for Rocket League. So I've got the Ecto 1, the DeLorean, the Batmobile. I've made some custom cars, like I made a Ninja Turtle party van.
Sure.
I've got like a pirate theme one, Goonies. And there's this new car body that I've never seen before. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'll build off of this. So I'm looking through all of the different options, and I see a skin, and it's kind of like a zebra print. And the color, it was baby blue and white, which were the exact colors of Shawn Michaels' tights when he fought Razor Ramon at a second ladder match. So I thought, I'm going to make a Shawn Michaels car. Cool. So I have to make a blue one, and I got to make a red one. The blue one is modeled after that SummerSlam event. So he's got the blue and white stripes. Then for the trail, there's like a orange trail for the orange ladder that was in the match.
Oh my god!
And then I put on this biker hat on top. You know those hats you used to wear with the chains on it.
So it was basically that's like gay Leatherman.
Yes. So I have a gay Leatherman hat on top of this car as well.
Wow.
And then I forget what the wheels are. It's irrelevant. So I've got that. Then I had to do a red one. Well, as we know, Shawn Michaels' classic colors, red and white.
Right.
So I have red and white with heart glasses on the top, and the trail is hearts. So I made this, and I immediately messaged you guys. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I named it the HB car, HBKAR. Got it? So I've got a preset, the HB car. Oh, and I've got, just so people are aware that it's a Shawn Michaels car, it has a flag with the WWE logo on it.
Oh my
So that way you know it's a Shawn Michaels car.
That way we know you're a fucking loser.
It's not, no.
Don't deny.
No, I'm proud of the fact that I'm a Shawn Michaels freak. And then, also, I got
the tat?
I have a tattoo of Shawn Michaels' broken heart on my arm. So
when you get into something, you fucking get into it.
I go full hard.
Yes, full hard, not even soft hard, full hard.
Full hard. So and it comes in waves. So like I'll be like super into Star Wars for a while, and that's all I look up online. I buy toys or whatever, and then that will shift to Ghostbusters for a little bit. Then I get really back into wrestling again. Then that'll shift to Ninja Turtles, and there's like this cycle, this never-ending fucking cycle, and I can't break it.
Have you ever cried because of Shawn Michaels in your lifetime, even as a kid? I'm pretty sure that I teared up when he was like retired and did that whole thing. I lost my smile?
No, I didn't. That stuff didn't bother me.
Oh, so like when he retired. So this is like
a couple years, like a few years. He retired at WrestleMania. So that's like 10 years ago now. He's been retired.
The Ric Flair match when he did did you tear up then?
I don't know if I teared up for that, but I really thought it was emotional, and I thought they did a really good job of it. When he got retired at WrestleMania 26, I definitely teared up because I was going to record myself because I knew people would find it humorous, but then I didn't want to take away from the moment and be aware, so I turned it off, and I definitely got emotional, and I wish that he was still wrestling to this day because he was very entertaining. I just like watching him.
I will admit, I'm not a wrestling fan, but out of all of like the wrestlers, if I were to go back and watch a wrestling match right now, I would say Shawn Michaels' wrestling matches are some of the most entertaining.
Absolutely. And I mean, I find Shawn Michaels very funny. So Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam 2006 is hysterical.
Yeah.
And the reason it's hysterical for me, again, I read a lot of the backstage news, and the news was that Shawn Michaels was supposed to win that match, and then Hulk was going to lose the other match, and then they were going to have like a rubber match or whatever. But Hulk Hogan decided, no, I want to win this match, and we're not going to do any more. So Shawn Michaels thought, okay, well, I'm just going to
completely oversell everything.
I'm going to oversell everything. So he gets hit with a leg drop, and then he like jumps up off his feet and flips over backwards.
He really oversells everything.
And it was just bonkers.
It was hilarious.
It was very funny.
And like I think any wrestling fan or anybody who had a
knowledge of it, I think,
could
definitely enjoy it. Because I think at that point a lot of people were sick of Hogan and hearing all these backstage stories. So again, I was just always a really positive pro Shawn Michaels guy. And when he retired in '98 because he had a broken back or whatever, I highly suggest you watch his DVD documentary. You learn quite a bit about him, and that's where I really learned to love him and understand his true beauty.
I have one more question, and then we'll move on to your new Shawn Michaels thing news that you have to tell me.
Oh, I already told you that.
Oh, you already said it?
That was the Rocket League thing.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Yeah, no, that is pathetic.
It's not pathetic.
It was 100% pathetic. It's almost as pathetic as you fucking playing No Mercy and making a creative player of a chick and changing her bikini color to skin color and pumping off to that.
Well, that's a private conversation. It has nothing to do with Shawn Michaels, and I don't think it has any right to be spoken on this podcast.
100%.
Okay, it only happened once.
Once. I'm sure it happened a couple of times.
It was Marlena.
Just like the patheticness and just
it's a harsh word.
How desperate you were to fucking just bust a nut. And did you spin her around? Because I know you can like spin.
Of course, I spun her around.
And you can make them do like the sexy struts and shit. Did you like just?
And I gotta say, so when Shawn Michaels came back out of retirement to fight with Triple H against Undertaker and Kane in Saudi Arabia, Shawn Michaels.
This was recent, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Shawn Michaels had some new tights made. They had the NXT logo on the side because he's a trainer for NXT.
Okay.
But the color, they were black, but they had a hint of purple. And as we all know, purple is my favorite color. So I immediately load up No Mercy, and do I recreate Shawn Michaels with a bald head, a biker jacket, the black and purple trunks. I made him look identical. And that's what I love about that fucking game is that I was able to recreate Shawn Michaels in my favorite wrestling game in his latest attire.
And then you beat off after that.
No, I didn't. Didn't beat off, but I did beat The Undertaker in a match in No Mercy in a 1 versus CPU game. Does that make you happy?
It doesn't. I think that's a perfect way to end this.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
Hold on. I did meet Shawn Michaels.
Oh my God, yes. You met Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
What was it like walking to the event, thinking to yourself, I'm about to meet my fucking hero.
Oh, fuck. So this was a couple years ago now.
Yeah.
So he was doing a show in Niagara Falls, Comic-Con. Tickets were $100 to get your photo taken. That's it. And that's how cons work. It sucks. It is what it is. $100, photo, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get there. We get there on time, and we're in this crazy-ass long line outside waiting to get in. I'm checking I'm like, Sarah, we're not going to make it. We're like, it's 3 hours away before Shawn Michaels. We're not going to make it. I'm stressing out the entire time. An hour and a half we waited in this line. So we finally get in. I redeem my ticket for my pass, and then I get into another ridiculously long line to finally meet Shawn Michaels. So my heart's racing a bit because I'm nervous. What do I talk about? What do I say? How do I make a lasting impression in that couple seconds that you get?
Right.
It's not easy to do. What kind do I want to do a pose? A lot of things are going through my head. So Shawn Michaels comes in, the crowd goes wild. Like, oh, there he is, he's right there. Whoa, very cool. And the line's moving fairly swiftly. I get up, I see him, shake his hands, look, picture, done. That was it. It was the shortest thing. So I looked in, I said, it's a pleasure to meet you. He's like, oh, pleasure's all mine, whatever. I put my arm around him, and I remember, I'm like, do I put it on my shoulder? So I remember I put it like right around his waist, and I like held his waist, and I thought it was the weirdest thing. So as I'm walking away, he sticks his hand out, and I thought he was going to shake my hand. Now, I'm already about 6 or 7 feet away from him.
Right.
I then go, oh, and I turn around and go back and shake his hand. He's not trying to shake my hand. He's shaking the next person's fucking hand. And I'm just interrupting, like, oh, thank you very much. And then I scurried out. In that time, Sarah had enough time to take her phone out, turn the camera on, and it was over. We got none of it. So it was disappointing in that sense because you really didn't have any time to...
Right.
But what do you say? Like, oh, it's such a pleasure to meet you. Your matches were just fantastic. Oh, your matches with the... He knows. He's heard all of that.
I guarantee you hasn't heard. I spent days finding a T-shirt for your action figure.
And then he'll look at me and go, oh, great, man. Like, good for you. Which is true.
What's another embarrassing story you have?
So I borrowed WWF Raw for the Super Nintendo from my friend Jonathan Bezpali, who got me into wrestling with his tape in grade 6. So I'm playing, and what I'm deciding to do, I'm going to have a tournament to showcase the best finishing moves in WWF Raw. So I have this whole tournament set up. Luna Vachon versus Owen Hart, Bret Hart versus Diesel, whatever. So Shawn Michaels at this time, his finishing move was Sweet Chin Music.
Yes.
But in the game,
it was like a weird fucking suplex.
It was the teardrop suplex.
Yeah.
Which, it was fine, but it wasn't the best move in the game. The best move in that game...
Don't throw out, like, everybody knows what the fuck a teardrop suplex is.
Well, they'll look it up. No, they won't. So, in my opinion, in that game, the best 2 moves were 3. The Jackknife Powerbomb by Diesel, Tombstone by The Undertaker, and the Razor's Edge by Razor Ramon. I thought those were the coolest finishing moves. Thought they looked the greatest. But for some reason, I couldn't let it go that Shawn Michaels could not have the best finisher. So in my tournament, I made him win. He was up against The Undertaker. I'm like, okay, Shawn Michaels wins. And no, it wasn't. And the worst part of all, even before I finished the match, my cat walked over and accidentally hit the reset button, and I got upset and cried. I teared up because I didn't get to finish.
No!
Yeah.
You really... What was your cat's name?
That would have been Fox.
Fox, no! Please, no!
So I've seen him perform a couple times live.
Oh, yeah.
The first event that I ever went to, the main event was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart versus Psycho Sid for the WWF title. It was the first. Was that a
shadow match?
It was a dark match after a Raw that they taped at the Sky Dome. Mm-hmm. This was January 7th, 1997. It was the first event that I ever went to. So flash forward, I went to WrestleMania 23. We have... there are fine seats. This is my second WrestleMania. WrestleMania 23, main event, Shawn Michaels versus John Cena for the WWE title. Shawn Michaels did not win that match, and I was pissed from the time we left to by the time we got to the car. I'm like, it really should have been him. John Cena's had that title way too long. HBK hasn't had a title run in a while. I know he doesn't want it or need it, but I think it'd be really cool. I just was so pissed that they didn't give him the fucking title then.
Right, but like everybody knows it's fake.
Yes. I love storylines. Like, that's one of the reasons I probably like Shawn Michaels so much, because he's really good at promos.
Okay.
He could go out there and cut a good promo, and you're always, like, hooked on every word that he was saying, for whatever reason. And he was sexy. Let's just be honest.
What do you think is his most sexy attribute?
His chest. His chest.
All right.
I had this really weird idea to do this Shawn Michaels tribute video.
Yeah.
I wanted to... The idea...
it's fantastic.
The idea with it is I wanted to ham up my love for Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
It's obvious in the video that I have to like him because I have so many art. Like, I've got his belt, and I've got the action figures and the DVDs. So I try to make it seem that it's
Yes.
real. I really pushed it that it was real.
And it's 100%. Yes, it's over the top.
It is over the top. I love Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I do this ridiculous voice. The problem is that there is truth behind absolutely
100%.
everything I say in that video, to an extent. I lie, like, in the video I say that I paid like $1,000 for this shirt that he wore. It's not, I know, it's not Shawn Michaels' shirt. I wore it for my sister's wedding, but it resembles a shirt that he wore after he retired.
Right.
So I kind of played up that it was a shirt. And then the funny thing is, I talk about shaking his hand. I'm like, I met him and I shook his hand for the first time. And I remember all the legends that he touched. Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan. At the time, I hadn't met him yet. But when I did shake his hand.
Did you actually think that?
Of course I did.
Wow.
I immediately thought it. I'm like, these like...
Undertaker.
No, just I thought about
Tommy
like...
Shango.
He's held the belt with those hands and I shook his hand. I thought that was kind of cool.
These hands.
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. I can't believe it. They're real.
Did you not wash your hands for a while?
I still haven't. So anyway, the video, some people think it's real and some people think it's fake.
The video.
Some people think it's real, some people think it's fake.
It's fantastic.
And that is the kind of stuff that I like to do. I like to...
Whoever's listening to this has to go to our YouTube channel, watch a Shawn Michaels video. I will link it somewhere on the video or in the fucking description box below. Watch the video and read the comments because they are phenomenal.
It's great, and that's the stuff that I personally love doing. It's the
best.
Is that real? Because the only reason it works so well is because there's truth to it. There's truth to everything that I'm saying.
I would say it is basically your fandom for Shawn Michaels on steroids.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's all. So it's there. It's just amplified.
I mentioned that his book like changed my life.
Yeah.
There's this clip. So it was this Shawn Michaels montage video, and this guy hugs Shawn Michaels, and you can see him mouth the words, "I've waited my whole life to meet you." Wow. And I remember looking at him like, "That's me. I want that." And it's true, because it's like I want to give Shawn Michaels a hug after he wins a match and says, "I've waited my whole life for this."
Okay, so in that video, you claim. Obviously, you did not buy a shirt that was $2,000.
No.
But out of the amount of Shawn Michaels merch and books and so on and so forth, how much do you think you have spent on Shawn Michaels?
Comfortably, we'll just say maybe like $500.
$500?
Yeah, and honestly, I think that would even be a lot. So it might not be as much as you think.
Okay.
But the problem is I spend a lot of time just watching Shawn Michaels. And that's really the best thing you can collect of memories.
Fuck you. I think that's it. There goes the very first Steve Mustache podcast episode.
Okay, do we have to say goodbye?
I guess.
We have to say goodbye to people, right?
Bye. He's like, oh yeah, I remember in '94, me and Undertaker had a shadow match or whatever the fuck, shadow show. What are those called?
Shadow show.
What are those called?
Dark match.
Dark match. Oh
No.
Dark match. And he's like, oh yeah, and he did this like really crazy German suplex, and he, got behind you, put his arms around your stomach, and he just grabbed me right here, and
He's got shivers.
Yeah.